static analyzations and static discussion of Primark of major fast fashion retailers of the Associated British Foods (ABF). The session will be created the discussion about the static position of framework based on the well-known management theories and framework. It aims identifying the way to business model organization success contribute to comparative positions in the global retail environment. It begins with an introduction to the organization, followed by the analysis of external and internal environmental to organize static using Porter 5 process resource-based review. Lastly, I contact this business model of Primark to explain the static alternatives and that choose and improves long-term sustainability and comparative strengths. And going to the next and introductions. Uh, it was created in 1969 in Dublin and it becomes one of the most influential fast fashion retail stores in Europe, having more than 400 stores and it's operate like 16 countries. The company is high financial research and management's capabilities being part of Associated British Food and the static instant of Primark is based on providing high fashion at low prices. This is what they become cost leadership models. The organizations is placed in the fashions and retail industries, which is short-lived in nature trends and high pace of competitions associated with the prices as well. Growing sustainability. This is the important sector contest understanding the because it identifies the force outside companies and customers behaviors the steps of static directions of framework. The background gives basic of analysis of current situation and future static choice in framework. I'm going to the next slide. Organizations, backgrounds, and market positions. You can see in the charts in which countries it have different percentage. Primark has high comparatives presence in the UK low end of fashion sector where low price velocity to market and primary drivers of customers behavior. It has H&M, Zara like new looks and significant delivery which all likewise sell comparable cost wise produce at usually online sales and static of Primark is different. The company has no business mod e-commerce business models and can afford not to spend too much on operations to keep price very low. This model avoids it cost leadership static equally contest and static risks because customers shopping behavior is moving to the internet and Primark has demonstrated a strong post-COVID performance deports the pandemic related challenges and that ongoing stores expenses growth in Europe and United States it which reflects the company strengths and the brands. And going to the next one, sectors overview and lower probabilities and high values of sales that are speedily product turnover, the low prices characterize and fast fashion industries. One of the changes in the industry is a new pace to use e-commerce, which has alerted to customers' behavior. This trend is major static weakness of Primark because the companies adopts the stores formats. There are the high micro pressures in the sector, such as increased supply, transport chains. Also, the made manufacturing costs high, customer spending power low. The consumations in the world increasing digital first companies like Shine and Bono and the more established traders, retailers. These fashions are important to analyzing the static weakness and strength in Primark in UK and global market. These are the overviews of the fashion sectors and characteristics. I'm going to the next slide. choice theoretic frameworks. It's providing the sound static the poster five forces and resource based view are applied in the analysis. Potter's five forces give an understanding of the level of external competitiveness and retail environment and assets, equating the probabilities of the industries and customers, power, suppliers, sustainabilities, and new theories like impacts on imperatives on the industries. The high comparatives were digitals and taking the places in this is supplement by RBF framework at that analyze the internal capabilities of Primark such as the cost of effectively supply chain, scale-based purchasing powers, and operating success revolving around detecting resources of values which are rare to determines the source of sustainability comparative advantages of Primark, taking over the two framework balanced analysis theory of marketing criticize. These are the theories choices. Going to the next slide. Five forces analyzes an external static positions. Primark as highly comparative environment with an add of five forces of porters. There is high risk of sustainabilities and the customers are more attractive to online fashion stores, resales applications and sustainability seconds add and items extremely high with others like comparatives such as Zara, H&M, which is other rating prices, speed, and online convention. The customers of Primark is high buyer power because they are price sensitive and high low switching cost. The power of suppliers and motivated the supply side. The high level of purchasing at Primark is leverage, and the global chain installability is in the theory and barriers to the entire I physical physically retailers all the cost leaderships approach recently adapt by Primark and it remains however its effectives getting more than challenges by digital comparatives have lower edge and better online presence. Going to the next slide, RBV analyzes an internal static capabilities. You can see in the valuable rare, you can compare it to disadvantages, and you can see in chat the research based view adds the elevations of internal strengths of Primark leading to sustainabilities and comparative advantage, the ability to keep operating costs very low based on static services sourcing not using by expensive online fulfillment systems adapted by competitors or is one of the strongest of the company is help the Primark to maintain high cost leaderships. Primark outlets operate strategically, geographically positioned in the business places, operated wise, generated the cost, contest and traffic, fast movement, which key value of retailers. The retailers all scales also associated by relationships with long-term suppliers. The RBF also point to weakness. Primark also does not have well-developed e-commerce capability, which has weakly digital background. Comparisons it arrives like there is uh, it relies such as Jara. These loopholes poses theories long-term comparativeness when customers' behavior patterns remains online. Going to the next slide, key static issues identification. The external and internal analyzations have um, composed their thoughts and identification for static issues that will define the future direct of Primark. The most important is the fact it is still prevents full capability, which is still restricts the market based on more customers move to online shopping. Sustainability pressures are other significant issues since fast fashion stores are really subject to regulations, changes, and increased customers' environmental responsibilities, expectations, the cost pressure, and highly influences and valuations supply chains, which reduces is keeping on low prices in Primark. Besides, there are the theory of new entrants such as a Shiny and Timu that change the speed of fashions and introduction policies. These problems need to solve other order to keep in Primark relevant the position in fast changing relating environment. You can see the cost pressure and comparative theories. Going to the next slide. Static positions of Primark. Um, a number of realistic static choice are arises in the case of Primark. The entails move into the e-commerce by provisions of click and collect restacks online assessments, and this is a static that offers a balance between the digital axis and the cost oriented model of Primark and itself. Secondary sustainabilities may be comparatives, like as the company will be invest the recycled fabric regularly activities and discolors of supply chains. Third, and in the store expenses can be improved with the help of digital Risco self services of custom stylish tools that will keeps old style in store shopping. Lastly, geographically demarcations of suppliers reduce the risks of logistics and influence. Both of the options are applicable for long-term competitiveness. It remains the line with like business models. Both have trade-offs in the terms of costly and speed of implements of this is the static position of Primark. Going to the next slide, recommendations and the final conclusions. We can see the hybrid model stores. The the approach is an integration of an old-fashioned store space models by using Primark and with important daily improvements, and the next phase of they can enable Primark into e-commerce without undermining its cost structures and expanding capabilities of click and collect and changing the capabilities of this app. This is the same time sustainability into the brand equality by and means of equal actions, supply chains, transforms and carbon reductions, permissions, and it is useful to context of regulations, requirements, and positives, influencing brands and responsives, and the wastage reduces will change by operation upgrades such as management, which is supported by data, content, short supplies, cycles, and mixed approaches makes Primark resiliently with the regret long term. It improves the maintenance in the low cost state and increases brand loyalty, researching new segments and becoming closer and changing customers' requirements. These are the recommendations of the study conclusions, and you can see the references as well. This is the about the static recommendations of framework. Thank you.